Hi. So I've already forgotten my movie. That's delightful short afterwards. There's so many. But does anybody who remembers it want to ask me anything about it? And if you don't, we can just bam. Yeah, whatever.
Jonathan, I actually would.
Yeah, Jeff. What would you like to ask?
I would be interested. We played and gave an award to the AD short film several years ago. I'd love for you to talk about the sort of process of making a short and then being able to come through with a full feature version a couple of years later.
Sure. I made a short version of this. It was just the first couple of scenes in the beginning between Jen and Matt. It was 11 minutes. It played here before the Neil Patrick Harris movie. What was that called? Yeah, exactly. And it played before that, which was lovely because it was like a local movie, so the audiences were amazing, and they were so nice, and everybody liked the short too, which was really lovely. And then we won a jury prize, which was so nice. It played around for like a year, and then about a year and a half ago, two the women who wound up producing my film were at a film festival with me and asked me if I had a feature script of it. And I hadn't really thought that I would keep making the same story afterwards, but I definitely had places for it to go. So when they asked, I went away and wrote a script. And that was like May, and then we were filming by August, so it just kind of happened very quickly. I think once I knew that I had people who would help me who were very talented producers. The ladies producing my movie are very, very good at what they do. We had very little money, and it looked way better than a film should look for how little money we have. It was very little. Like, it cost more to actually procure a baby than to make my movie. Which shouldn't be the case, but it's true. So does that answer that? Or, I mean, you know, when something like that happens, when you have the opportunity, you kind of got to jump in, and that's what I did. I was like, we're going to make this, and we're going to make this summer. Yes?
Did you then reshoot those earlier scenes?
Oh, yeah, you can't really use the same stuff from the short because Jen and Matt, 2 years had passed, they kind of looked different, and actually because it was my short cost us $4,000, so it was a different cameraman, a much smaller crew, we had less, stuff. And in a way, when you're redoing stuff like that, you kind of actually, I rewrote the scenes to have some stuff that I thought never quite worked or would have worked better with more explanation. There was a really weird joke in the short about the amount of semen that was much more subtle in the short, so only there would always be one guy in the back who would be like, and so the feature I decided to make it more explicit so more people would understand what they were talking about, because there's a weird one guy laughing in the back, so it freaked me out a little bit. You could tell that maybe he had that large amount probably. Anyway, so yeah, we reshot it, I touched them up, and it was actually more fun to do them again. We had a lot more fun. The first time we did that sex scene between Jen and Matt, because they are friends in real life, they were terrified, and it wasn't fun, it was just terrifying. And then by the time we did it in the feature, we had a blast, so those little things change. Yes, hi. In this case, when you have no money, when these tight little sets with 10 people, it was a lifesaver that I didn't have another person who wrote it and another actor to deal with. It was one body that stuck up 3 bodies of air conditioning units, I feel like it's also helpful when you're doing a reading of your script you don't have to excessively tell people what kind of tone you want if you're in your project as well. It's directorial cheating a little bit. But also everybody that is in the movie is someone I've done theater with. Jack, who plays Jamie, and Jen and Matt are people I met doing a play. We did a play together in 2003 and then another one in 2004. So we have a very specific rapport that requires almost less direction than somebody you don't know. And I don't know if I would have put myself in a movie if I didn't have that already with them, but I do. So it was easy in this case. I don't know if it always would be, and I don't know if I could be the lead of a film that I was in, but in this case it was fine. You wanted to ask something else?
Which camera did you shoot on?
It's a 5D with ultra prime lenses. So it's a little bit better than a 5D usually looks, depending on who knows, I don't know what they screen. What did you screen on? Ooh, HD cam, ooh, pretty. Sometimes it's like a DVD that they come on the floor. Not here, but you're their class team, maybe HD cam. Yes. Yes, actually, I put that in there because I grew up in the South Bronx, and as you can tell, because obviously I told her, my family does. I ran away screaming at 18. I turned pink and ran away from the room. But anyway, but I love her really. But when I was younger, the first piece of literature that I found that actually said that, difference was okay was like an X-Men comic book, because they really are these allegories for racism and homophobia. It's about like the mutants are different and we should accept that, And I wasn't getting that lesson from anyone else in the Bronx when I was 11, and I kind of already knew I was different than other people. So in a way, I just wanted to honor the fact that that was the first place I knew that there was the acceptance of difference, and I think that that's beautiful. And people make fun of the comic people sometimes, like especially if you see in movies or TV, like the guys who work at the store are always like kind of nerdy, mean people, and I just don't find that to be the case at all. So I just wanted to have like a different experience of that in the movie. Yes, hi there.
I have a question. I would ask you to go back home and start writing another one because this one was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you so much. Well, my kitties don't want me to write right now. They just want me to hang out on the couch. Because I've been traveling a lot. But I'm very looking forward to doing that. We have a little bit more. We come out on DVD and on video on demand in December, and we're playing in New York in a theater right now, and then in LA next week. So I still have travel and stuff to go. But I'm looking forward to working on something new as soon as the new year begins. Yes, hi.
I noticed that Kickstarter was in the credits.
Yes, I credited that.
At what point in the process did you turn to Kickstarter, and is that something you do again?
Yeah, Kickstarter was great because I had the short, so I already had something to show people, and I had like my other shorts that I could give away as gifts. They both been put on. They were both on Walkman, which is a really nice DVD collection. So I had things that I think that were tangible for people to be able to give me money by Kickstarter. So for us, it was great. We got $16,000 that way, which was, a nice set of our budget, and but it was also really just to make people feel like they could be involved at an early point in the process and make it feel like it was their project too. And often the people who donate on Kickstarter are the ones who, talk about it on Facebook and talk about it on Twitter and really like promote it when it plays in their town. Or so I mean, it actually expanded the community of the film, and that was more important to me than the money. Although the money was great too, but honestly, it was all about community building. So I really appreciate what they do. I think they're kind of awesome.
We have time for maybe 2 more questions.
Okay, it'll be you two then. Or unless it needs to be you.
3 more questions.
All right. You first, then you, then you.
Do you have a distributor?
It was picked up by Wolf. They're a distributing company, 25-year-old like LGBT-focused distributing company. They're putting it out on. It'll be on iTunes, DVD, video on demand, December 4th. And the theater thing is depending upon how we do in each place. We just had a pretty great opening weekend in New York, not like, nobody's getting rich off of it, but for a small indie we did very well. And we're going to do LA and San Francisco so far.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. Yes, hi.
I was going to ask you if it was opening in Waterloo, but first, if you decide to do something new, something, a sequel, could you have them both, or all 3 of them go to the Maury show? So my mother can see a return to the character?
I feel like that's just not as important with the theme of the movie. The theme of the movie is about like the family you kind of find as you grow older, and I just didn't feel like that question was so easy to answer or even needed to be answered, but it's actually that's something that's specific from my life. My mother was a hoe, no she wasn't. My mother's a very nice Catholic lady who happened to have a husband and a stepfather, and I was very ill-timed in between the two of them. So I actually did not know until later in life, and it did not change the way I felt about the people who I loved. So it was very important to me that that question did not need to be answered because I don't think it will affect the way you care about someone if you're related to them genetically or
I
not.
was just kidding.
Oh, no, it's fine.
I really want to know if there was going to be a wide release of this. I'd like to see it again like 11 times.
Yeah, well, you go home and you tell people to demand that. Demand it. And like us on Facebook, if you want to get that facebook.com/JVFilm, or whatever. But I think the more people that tell other people that's how these little films kind of get spread around as word of mouth. And I know that people who are distributing are hoping that our video on demand is kind of a big thing. And I hope for you, sure, why not? There was one last one. Yeah, hi. Scott?
Yeah.
Yes, Mike Doyle's character in the glasses, yes.
Okay. Did you ever consider adding more conflict towards the end, like
You're asking me if I wanted to have, like, dramatic scenes in my comedy? No, I really didn't. I mean, that's great. That's a different movie. I feel like there's a lot of those movies and there's not enough of these movies, which is why I kind of made this movie. And I don't need to, like, I just feel like there's too much of that right now. And I really wanted a movie that was kind of like, had a nice, happy ending. I mean, we cut a year out of their life, so they've obviously grown and changed. But the movie is not really about that character. It's about Matt and Jim.
Jonathan,
Yes.
thanks so much for